Coming up on today's show, we got a little Spanish flair with some enchiladas coming your way. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rhonda
And I'm Laverne.
And today we got a recipe submitted by one of our own, Tom Jablonski. We got some beef enchiladas making tonight, and we're gonna put some rice in here, and
Yeah, we can make
a lot of
some
stuff going on.
Spanish rice and stuff. So just so excited about this recipe. It's just it's so spicy and flavorful. It's just gonna hit the spot. So
Well, he raves about it, so we're gonna see if it's true.
okay, that sounds good. First of all, we're gonna start with a pound of lean hamburger.
Okay.
And we'll just put it in our fry pan here, and we're gonna brown that. And we'll get that chopped and going. And then when we have the hamburger browned, we're going to add some medium onion, chopped onion, and 2 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
And then we'll just simmer that for a little bit before we add the rest of the seasonings. And it really isn't going to take that long to get that in the oven. And then you bake it for 30 minutes.
Okay.
And this way too, while that is baking, we're going to start with our Spanish rice.
Okay.
We have our hamburger browned.
Okay.
And that, so we're going to add our onion, chopped onion here. And also 2 cloves of chopped garlic.
Okay.
And then we're just going to put that in there, and then we're going to just mix that up and I'm going to put the cover on it and just let it simmer just for a short time. And here I was going to
cook that all together so it blends good.
Right, so the onions and the garlic flavor get blended in there, and the onion softens just a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll just give that probably 2 minutes. That will be plenty to get those onions softened up. Because we don't have to, once we get everything else in here, we don't need to simmer that for 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. It's once you've got it, all the ingredients in there, you set it aside and let it cool and make your enchilada sauce.
Okay.
So it goes quite quickly with that. So let's just put the lid on there and have that on there for a couple of minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, our onions look nice and tender, and the garlic is in there. That smells good.
It does.
Okay. Now I'm going to add a can of green chilies, chopped green chilies, and this is a 4-ounce can.
Okay.
And there, then it asks for 2 bouillon cubes.
Okay.
And I usually don't do the bouillon cubes. I do the beef base paste. So I'm going to just take about the size of what you would do I'm in a bouillon. Correct. So we're going to put that in there.
Okay.
And your beef base, when you have the paste, actually it isn't as salty, and it's better for you.
Okay.
Your granulated beef base salt is one of your first ingredients. So you know it's a lot saltier.
Okay.
So we have that in there. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of cumin. That looks like the end of that one.
Okay.
A teaspoon of cilantro. It's just your dried cilantro that you can pick up at the grocery store.
Sure.
A teaspoon of chili powder. And 1 teaspoon of paprika.
Okay.
And let's just get that mixed up in there.
This definitely is going to be a spicier dish with all of those flavors blending together. It's going to be good.
I think, but you got, it adds, we're going to add quite a bit of cheese and stuff too, and that will certainly cut that down, but it just going to give an awesome flavoring together. And your beef base And you can see that that is already just mixing in there. The cubes, they're a little bit harder, and you almost have to dissolve them in a little bit of water or whatever to get them going there.
So you wouldn't be able to use, well, beef broth would be too thin. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, you don't want to add liquid to this here, because we're not adding extra liquid.
Okay.
So we're just going to get that all mixed up there. And once that's blended, we're going to just set that aside, because we want this just to cool down just a little bit, because we're going to add our cheese, half of our cheese in there when we put the sauce and that on there.
Okay.
So, okay, looks good. So I'm just going to take that over here and just set it to the side, and then we're going to start with our enchilada sauce. We're going to put in, it's a half a stick of butter, so that would be a 1/4 cup.
Okay.
And we're going to get that melted. I'll get my fry pan on here and get that hot. Okay, our butter has melted, so we're going to add our tablespoon of chili powder.
Okay.
And our tablespoon of, I added the paprika. I said chili powder, but it was paprika.
Okay.
But it's a tablespoon of chili powder also.
Okay.
So we've got the tablespoon of chili powder and of paprika, each one.
Okay.
So we'll just get that mixed in there a little bit. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour, and we're just kind of stir that in there just to kind of make a little bit of a paste.
Sure.
Before we add our other ingredients. And this sauce does thicken up.
Okay. The flour does that, the thickening agent there?
Yes, that it is. So now we're going to add 1 1/2 cups of water.
Okay.
And you know, you can see too, as this thickens, and if you like a little thinner sauce, you certainly can add more water. There's no reason you can't.
Okay.
Then I'm going to add approximately what you'd consider 3 cubes of bouillon.
Okay.
Beef bouillon and stuff, so I'm going to add that in there. And we need a tablespoon of cumin and 2 teaspoons of cilantro.
Okay. We definitely got some flavors going on.
It absolutely. So we're going to add that in there. And like I said, that was 1 tablespoon of cumin and 2 tablespoons of dried cilantro.
Okay.
I didn't have any of the dried cilantro before, and I guess I, hadn't even ever looked for it. And when I was at our local grocery store, they have a whole bunch of packets of all kinds of seasonings and stuff there. There's a nice young gentleman there that, I was looking at all the spices in the bottles, and I thought, I can't find cilantro. So this young man was there, and he started looking, and here right to the side is a whole display of all kinds of spices and mixtures of things. It's just little packets.
Okay.
And, really quite reasonable compared to what the bottles are.
Oh.
So that is
Good
a nice addition there, so I was glad to see that. So now our beef base is just about dissolved in there. And that.
Yep, you can see it's thickening up already.
Yeah, it is. And you can, when you smell it, it definitely smells like enchilada sauce, when you open up a can, but only a lot better.
Well, anytime you're able to make it from scratch, things do just taste a lot better.
So I'm going to just turn that heat down a little bit. We're going to, this will make about 5 to 6 big burritos.
Okay.
We're going to use the bigger flour tortillas, but you certainly can use the smaller ones if, you would rather have that.
Sure.
And there, so I'm going to just Stir that a little bit more. And I'll have you just lightly spray that. You know, one thing we're going to do is we're going to dip our flour tortilla in our sauce. Just dip it in there.
Okay.
And I'm going to lay it on a plate. And then we'll put our filling on there. But before we do that, we're going to bring the beef mixture over here.
Okay.
And if you want to get that, then we can add our cheese. It says about, well, we're going to be putting about a half a pound of cheese in here. I've got like the Colby Jack. You can use cheddar or mozzarella, whatever you know your favorite is.
Sure.
So I'm going to put about half of that in here, and we'll just mix that all together with the hamburger.
Okay.
And then the rest of the cheese is going to go on top of the enchiladas when we're done. And I already did preheat the oven to 350.
Okay.
It's going to bake for 30 minutes. So with the hamburger cooling down just a little bit here, your cheese won't be melting in that right now, but it's going to when it's in the oven.
Sure.
And you add that, and you can see that it's making a fair amount of filling there.
It sure is.
So we're going to put that over there. And what I'm going to do is just take one of these, and I'm going to just dip that in here. But you know, you can also just do your own at home and just put a little bit of on top of it.
Sure.
Or, you know, spoon it on and stuff, because this will definitely get a little bit, you know, messier, but there. So what I'm going to have you do, you're going to want to add about a half a cup to 3/4 cup of hamburger.
Okay.
Down the middle here. So I'll just have you do that. And I'm going to get out another plate here so I can be doing that while you roll that one up.
Okay. And we're just going to put these in.
Yeah, you're going to put that. And here, why don't I give you a nice big spatula here, just to pick that up and lay them in there.
I'm still going to get messy.
That's okay. And I'll just spread this one around a little bit more. And the reason, you know, we're dipping that in there too, when that bakes up there, the tortilla really kind of fluffs up, and it just makes it really, really good.
Okay.
And we'll pull this out and give ourselves a little bit more room here. And you can do that one well.
Did I need to flip it over and have seam down? Is that something that's important?
I don't think so. I think, you know, with that, you can.
Okay.
When you're doing that there. But with that sauce on it, it helps seal that a little bit too.
Sure.
So I'm going to put that on here. And we'll just spread that out around a little bit. And then if there's any leftover sauce, we're going to just, you know, put that over the enchiladas when we, at the end when we serve them.
Sure. Well, this certainly makes a big enchilada.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 4 there. And then we probably might even be able to squeeze them in just a little bit closer then.
As long as your fingers are clean, this all works.
We were given fingers before utensils, so I think we can safely use our fingers, and it's just a little extra touch that makes it better. Here, I'm going to take this here. When you roll that one in there, I'm going to kind of push them a little bit together here.
Okay.
And I think, you know, too, we're going to be able to lay one on the end here.
Sure.
Also, so. Okay, now we're going to sprinkle the remaining cheese on here.
Okay.
You know, when I was looking in my freezer for cheese, I was thinking, okay, Colby, do I have it? And I did end up finding some, but I thought, well, I would just take a package of Colby cheese, and that I had cheddar cheese and mozzarella, and mix it together.
Sure.
That's going to look just like your Colby cheese. So now we're going to put the rest of our sauce over this. So we're going to just scrape that on there.
Okay.
Can't let any of that delicious sauce go to waste. And then we're also going to just scrape out the rest of what's in our pan here.
Sure.
And then we'll spread that out on there. Okay, so we'll just take that and just spread it over a little bit. There wasn't a lot of sauce left, but I think, you know, it's just going to be just about right.
Okay.
So now we're going to pop that in the oven and for 30 minutes, and while we do that, we're going to start with our Spanish rice.
Sounds good. Okay.
And you know, and that's not that difficult to make either. We're going to start with 6 tablespoons of olive oil.
Okay.
And you know, when I was measuring my 6 tablespoons in here, it looked like a 1/3 cup. Now, why don't they just say a 1/3 cup? It'd be a lot easier than measuring 6 tablespoons of olive oil. And your olive oil, if you do have olive oil, that's definitely what I would suggest using, because it does give it a little bit of a different flavor than your regular cooking oil.
Sure does.
So we're going to add a medium-sized chopped onion.
Okay.
In with this oil here. And as we were talking before, it asks for 2 Anaheim chili peppers.
Okay.
And found those. The Anaheim chili peppers, they're bigger than a jalapeno. In fact, they were about this long.
Okay.
And but they look like a chili pepper, and it's a milder one. And if we went on the computer just to kind of look it up and find out a little bit more information on what an Anaheim chili pepper is, and it only had 1 bar for hotness. You know,
okay.
You can go up to 5, 6. You know, depending on how hot your chili peppers are. And so this was,
if you want to be able to eat or not.
Right, and this was pretty mild.
Okay.
So we're going to just stir that in here a little bit. And it asks for 4 cups of cooked rice.
Okay.
And what I did was I just had taken minute rice, made 4 cups.
Sure.
And stuff was the easiest. I'll just get that mixed up in here. And it also asks for 2 cloves of minced garlic.
Okay.
I just want to saute this just a little bit, because once you add the rice in there and you get everything coated in there, you don't cook it very long.
Okay.
You know, just basically until your liquids are gone. That, you know, when you take out your rice, it you know, doesn't have a lot of juice in it.
Okay.
So I'm going to add the 2 cloves of garlic here, minced garlic. And I think we'll have this done even before our enchiladas are done baking. And so we're going to add our rice. So you do want to have a fair size skillet when you're doing this. And being I cooked my rice yesterday. It's a little bit, it's cold, so it's going to, stick together a little bit. But if you just are making it everything all at once, you can just cook your rice and plop it right in here.
This makes a lot of rice.
Well, 4 cups of rice is quite a bit.
It does, but
yeah.
There's a lot of enchiladas too, so we got a couple meals out of this.
Nice.
We got big eaters.
That's right.
This is the dish to satisfy.
I get a lot of comments from some of our viewers to say, what do I do with all this food or whatever? And, it just doesn't seem like it takes long, and it's gone. It's just like cooking a meal, and so you have that ready to serve.
Something like this, it freezes so easy too. So you certainly can cut it in half.
Oh, this would be easy to, make half the recipe.
But something like this, why not cook it all up and make some, packets for the freezer and save it.
Definitely. So now that we are mixing that in there, we're going to add a half a teaspoon of paprika.
Okay.
Going to just sprinkle that over there. And a half a teaspoon of chili powder.
Okay.
And this is going to be giving, your color too to the rice. And let's just mix that up a little bit. And then we add a small or 8-ounce can of tomato sauce.
Okay. And
it asks for 4 chopped Roma tomatoes. And you want to use your Roma tomatoes because they are more meaty. They don't have they're not as juicy as your other tomatoes. And that's what you don't want, is a lot of liquid here.
Okay. Well, we're adding liquid with the sauce. You wouldn't need a lot more with the tomatoes.
And the more liquid you would have, the longer you would have to, cook your rice.
Okay.
Till it was done. So I'm going to get a spoon out here, because it says to kind of slowly add your sauce in there a little bit at a time, and your tomatoes, and just blend it. We're going to do about half of that, and then I'm going to do about half my tomatoes.
Okay.
And we're going to add a little bit of pepper and salt. It's a kind of pepper and salt to taste. So I'm going to do about a teaspoon of pepper, because we certainly like the pepper.
Okay.
And when I cooked the rice, I did add a little bit of salt to it.
Okay.
So I'm not going to add too much. I'll add about a half a teaspoon of salt here. And let's just blend that up here. And it doesn't take long for, with that 4 cups of rice, for even the tomato sauce to, cook up in that.
Sure.
Okay, we'll add, I think I can just add the rest of that. It does make a really eye-appealing colors to it, with the green pepper in there and the tomatoes and that.
And it's such a flavorful rice instead of just, a plain rice or even a brown rice. So,
yeah, definitely.
When you're making a tasty dish like these enchiladas, go all out and make the big meal.
You want to have something, yes, extra. Well, Spanish rice is just a nice complement to burritos or enchiladas, whatever you're making.
So once we have this all blended together, do we let it simmer?
We're going to just put the cover on it, and I'll turn it way down just to keep it warm until our enchiladas are done.
Okay.
But see, I'm finding that there isn't much liquid to cook up in here.
No, there's not at all.
But I'm gonna I want to just cook it just a little bit longer, just to get rid of a little bit more of the rice, so that when you put it out, the rice doesn't stick together.
Okay.
So much. All right. That's all. And that didn't take very long at all, did it?
No, no.
Not at
From your
all.
preparation, getting everything chopped and ready
Takes
takes a little bit more time,
right.
but actual cooking it,
yeah,
very easy.
And it's just nice to surprise your family with something that you made from scratch and not, out of a box or that. And we always know that anything you make from scratch normally is a lot better than your boxes and stuff. So that's all ready and stuff. So we're going to just turn the heat down and just set that aside. And we have a little bit to go on our beef enchiladas, so we'll just wait there and we'll show the finishing product in a short time.
Sounds good.
Okay, our rice is all done and I hear the buzzer going for our enchiladas.
Okay.
So we'll go over here and we'll get that.
Oh, that cheese and enchilada sauce is all baked really nice.
That looks great. Here, we won't push out quite that. Oh, this is going to be
it smells
a
wonderful.
treat, a real feast. Let's see if we can't get one of those out here. Get that separated. Here. And that cheese is, well, I'm just having a little difficult time getting that out. I'm going to use 2 of these and bring the plate over here.
Okay.
And that, okay.
Oh, looks wonderful.
Have that there, and we're going to put some rice on that. Now look, does that look good?
Looks awesome.
And we're going to just garnish, with a little chopped lettuce. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put that on the side, and we'll put a few tomatoes in here. And we gotta have some sour cream. And we're also going to top our rice and enchilada with a little green onion.
Okay.
Chopped green onion. There we go. Okay. What do you think?
Fit for any king or queen or
anybody that's hungry.
Anybody that's hungry. That is right. That is great. And we'd like to thank Tom Jablonski for submitting this enchilada recipe. I can't wait to dig in. I just can't wait to do it.
Oh.
Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, thank you to the Workshop for being our sponsor. To get these recipes, go to www.ctctel.com. Please submit your recipes for us to cook for you. Thank you so much and have a great day.